Here we are. It's hard to believe this is the last. How are we here? This is the last Wednesday in February. I can't believe we're already here. 2024. We've had a really neat series all about relationships. And I just realized I wore the same necklace that I'm wearing for all different. Okay. Anyway, podcast episodes. I love it. Sometimes you don't always think about what you're wearing when you do these things. But if you're on video, you can see me. If you're on audio, you missed the joy of this. So sorry. But I will say we've been focusing on relationships for February 2024. And as it relates to counseling, mental health, just for us providers, what relationships really help us show up and do our job. Now, I did have a question come in, and they're like, "Well, Bethany, you didn't talk about your relationship with God, yourself, and others." Okay, I think that's like a given. If you really want that, we could totally do an episode on that. There's so many different episodes and sermons and messages on that. So the reason I didn't want to go to that as an episode is that I really feel like if we have a relationship with God, really, really close relationship with God, we have a relationship with ourselves and others. That's an outflow of that. It's almost like a given. So I just want you guys to know that is an undercurrent to everything we're sharing on here in February. So it's automatically kind of assumed or an undercurrent that you have a relationship with God, that you have a relationship with yourself, that you have a relationship with others. That being said, this last one can be kind of a tricky one. It's our relationship with leaders. You should always, always at least be praying to find a relationship, to find someone who is ahead of you, or at least in your mind where you want to go. You should always be on the lookout, at least for somebody, and knowing that not every leader will have the level of relationship with you that you want. That's a whole nother topic that we could even go into. But for instance, I listen to amazing podcasts. I listen to videos. I love audiobooks. I don't know any of those people. Well, some of them I do, but most of them I don't. I consider them amazing leaders, but we don't have a relationship. Just because I listen to somebody's podcast, just because I email them once in a while, I guess we have a relationship. But I'm talking about a mutual relationship, one that they're really pouring into you and you are offering something to them, whether it's your presence. I mean, some people get joy. I get joy when I get to pour out into other people and it's life giving for that person. And I get to watch that person go in the direction of what they've been wanting to go for so long and just didn't know how to get there. I feel joy in that. Okay. So it can be mutual ways, even if it feels like, wow, like I'm just receiving. That is a relationship, especially if you see how your relationship is impacting that other person. But with that being said, that's a real person that's there with you. So when I'm looking and specifically when I'm praying for a leader that's going to be with me in my journey, specifically with my mental health coaching and counseling and working with counselors and professionals, I'm looking for three mainly specific things. One, I'm looking for someone that can help me go inside myself. Meaning this, yes, that is internal family systems. You can even Google it, IFS terminology. I'd be careful if you Google it. The best resource that I've found so far, and there's a lot, okay, but the most easy and palatable, I guess, resource that I've had on this is Boundaries for Your Soul. It's a great book. It really talks about the Bible implications of this and really just helps you understand that we really are complicated human beings, right? God made us in such an amazing way, and there's parts of us that feel excited about something, but there's also parts of us that are like afraid of that very situation. There's so many things inside of us that are reacting in different ways. It's good to be aware of that. And so with that being said, I have a specific leader in my life that when I am going through something and I just feel like it's too much, like there's so many different parts, so many different things, so many emotions swirling around, I have a leader that I can call and go, hey, and this person knows me so well that they will almost drop everything and they'll get on Zoom or they'll get on a call and they will help me go through the different layers of everything that's going on, and they'll just be with me. They won't judge. They'll ask before they advise, which is huge. But not only that, they'll just sit with me while I'm trying to like discern what to do next. And they'll give me time and they'll give me attention and they'll ask the curious questions. This person has really invited me into the IFS journey. When I first started, I was turned off because there's so many different just weird things about IFS depending on how you Google it. But this person made it personal for me. And they really allowed me to sit with what was going on with the other training that I already had and to really help me go, hey, I see you. I see the sadness in that moment. I'm wondering if there's not maybe some other things at play here. Would it be okay if I get curious with you about that for a minute? And I would agree. And that's literally how they would ask it. It's like, wow. And so it's such an amazing person. So you should have somebody in your life that helps you go in, meaning they're curious about, okay, how is this impacting you deeply? How is this impacting your will, your emotions, your other relationships? How is this really impacting your dreams, your desires, your heart? How is this really affecting all of that? And then you have other people that I love it draw out. They see something in you and they want you to step out into that. Sometimes I can get so stuck in what all's going inside that I forget, oh yeah, okay, I'm supposed to step out into this area. And so many times, like, I feel like it's so obvious when somebody points it out to me, but I wouldn't know until they did that. Like, they kind of kicked me in the butt and helped me do that. One specific person that I'm thinking of is just somebody that has seen just me come alive in these group settings and me just have a passion for, regardless if it makes sense or not, especially when I started out on this journey with mental health coaching and on this journey with Step Out and Thrive. I was scared. It didn't make sense to many people that were around me. They're like, "Well, you have a job at the church. You know, you're okay there. You're being used there. It's a great opportunity." And I did, and I was there full time for a while. And I had other jobs that I was doing on the side. But when this came along, and especially when I continued to see so many of my counseling friends stop because they were getting burned out. And especially when I saw so many ministry leaders step down because of hurt, but because of burnout and because of not being connected with anybody. And here I was, and I had these resources and I had this passion to build safe groups like this. I knew I had to do something. So that was sitting there. I was sitting there with this for a couple years before I actually moved out into this because I was already coaching. I was already doing some client, like working with some clients on the side, but I wasn't doing groups. And this one person like was like, Bethany, do you understand the value that you have? Not everybody can just do what you're doing. And they sat with me, and in fact they even gave me access to just amazing resources and groups and believed in me and reminded me time and time and time again, Bethany, you are an amazing coach. Bethany, you offer people space to be. Bethany, you make this process filled with joy and healing and truth. And they continue to drive that into me over and over and over again. And if it weren't for that person that really believed in me, I don't believe I would be here right now, honestly, doing what I'm doing. And because I had to hear it in them first before I heard it in some of the clients and the groups that I was with. Because I know, and just a shout out, by the way, if you're a client and you know somebody has had impact in your life, will you please tell them? Because many times I think people just assume that leaders or counselors or mental health professionals or pastoral care leaders know how much impact they have, and truth is we don't get that a whole lot. And so I would encourage people, and I'm constantly encouraging people to spend some time every day and write a letter or send a text or send a voicemail to at least one person in your life that has made a difference. Just one person. And sometimes you can repeat that if that person's continuing to show up in amazing ways, to remind them, hey, I receive what you pouring in. Thank you so much for seeing me, for giving me that resource, for providing me that way. Continue to show up for that. That was a kind of a side note, because every counselor should have a counselor, every coach should have a coach. And which brings me to the final point. The third thing that I look for is people that know how to sit with me well. They can be a leader, and they can lead, and they can draw in, and they can also help me step out, but they can also be with. And many of the leaders that I'm thinking of right now in my life do all three very amazingly well. And I'm blessed, blessed to have a good group of leaders, actually, that I feel like really care and are with me and helping me in this season of my life. But this person specifically, I remember there was a prayer group going on around me, and I had some people praying with me and for me, and then it just almost became too much. Like, when you have those environments where it's just like, okay, I hear and I see what's going on, but it's just too much right now, and I just need to just a minute to like just get my groundings again. And so I made my way to the side and I sat down, and there was some other stuff going on, and everybody just kind of dispersed. And I just remember sitting there long enough to think, wow, like here I am, overwhelmed. These people pray for me and they feel like, okay, now it's just done and over with. And nobody really sees me. Nobody, almost like that pity party, but just that reality of like, God, do you even see me right now? Do you even see all the stuff that I feel like I'm carrying and walking through? And soon enough, as I've said that word, this leader came over and just sat right next to me and didn't even say anything, just sat next to me. And when they did that, I noticed a tear started coming down my face. And then two, and then three, and then much more like a flood. At that moment, when I started crying, this person got even closer. And I needed that. And that moment really changed the trajectory of a lot of things in my life. And I told that person that later, because I truly believe that it was a God moment, that God really showed me that I was seen, that I was heard, that I was loved. But not only that, that I could cry and be just sat with. That's such a powerful message for me, that I can cry and yet still be with people at the same time. And so when that happened, especially from this leader, I looked at this leader in a brand new way, first of all. But I actually reached out to this leader a couple more times, and this kept on drawing in and drawing out and so many things. But most of all, this specific leader has been with in amazing ways over the last couple years. And so whoever you're looking for, and especially, and here's another thing, praying for, we should be, and I'm still pray for leaders to be around me that I see, but not only that I see, that they see me. And I'm praying specifically for those leaders, because I believe that, yeah, there's never enough. I don't think I've ever gotten to the point I'm like, wow, I've got too many leaders around me. No, I don't think we're ever to that point. At the same time, and again, I mentioned this through all the other shows that we've done in this February time frame, a relationship goes both ways. So it's not just what that person can offer you. What are you able to offer that person? Like, for instance, each three leaders that I can think about that I talked about today, I've tried to show up and do something on their behalf, whether it's a referral, whether it's just a thank you note and words of encouragement, whether it's, hey, they'll reach out to me like, Bethany, can you do this? Yes, I won't feel any strings attached, but I'll want to do that because, like, what they've done for me. All of these things is, what can you bring to the table? What can you work with them? But also be aware of how that relationship is impacting them. This has been huge because I used to doubt. I used to doubt big time that somebody pouring into me really could bring that person that much joy, until I started getting into the groups and the work that I'm doing now with other people, with these counselors and mental health professionals and pastoral care leaders. When they realize that they can be seen and they can be heard and they can be understood. And there is deep healing that's taking place, especially in the group settings. And they become on fire, and they, for the first time, make space for their wife or for their kids or for their husband or for their spouses or for their small groups or for their staff or for their organization or for family or for friends. When they see the world completely different because a group got to see them in a deep way, when they become on fire and their clients become deeper into healing and deeper into relationships because of how they stepped out, you guys, I get energized. I get so energized by that. When God can change and move in deep ways, I am filled with energy when I see people do that, and they don't believe me because I know how that feels to be on the other side. And so, please, if somebody tells you that it is a joy and it provides energy for them to be with you, to encourage you, to be part of your life in that way, please believe them. Believe them and look for that in their lives. But not only that, look for other ways that you can bless them, encourage them, and help them out with that ways too well. So that is all I have for today. Looking for leaders and praying specifically for leaders who can help you go in, who can help draw you out, but who also can be with you. I hope this was a help to you. I hope this whole series has really helped you rethink some of the key relationships that help you step out and thrive in your calling, whether it's paid, whether it's volunteer, whatever it looks like in your life. You are offering a tremendous value when you're able to show up and care well for people in your life, regardless if it's coaching, regardless if it's counseling, or if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you work with the AA clinic, if you are a great friend or a mentor, or you lead a Bible study. When you show up well for others, when you make space to be with others, you are offering a tremendous value. And I don't want you to ever forget that. You are seen, you are heard. You are so deeply loved. And I'm so glad that you are here. I hope you have an amazing February. And once again, one last time, if you believe that you have any questions or if you would like to see a podcast on a specific topic, you can definitely click the link down. It should be in the show notes where you can leave an audio message. You can also go to the BethanyBoring.com links page and you can click the podcast there and you can leave me an audio message on that page, or you can email me, Bethany@stepoutandthrive.com. Have a great February, everybody, and I'll see you guys in March. Bye.